Hello, welcome to another episode of Retail Focus. I'm John Suder here once again with my co-host, Bart Mroz.
Hello, my friends.
Hello. Before we get started today, Bart, why don't you tell me what your one awesome thing for this week is?
My air conditioning got fixed.
Hey.
It poor because the weather, where it can decide if it's really hot or really cold or rainy, I can't have. But of course, it broke on a hotter day, and it was a brand new air condition. We figured out what it was. Thank God it was just a quick fix. So that's great. And I'm gonna say, Phillies game you went to yesterday and they won.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna take a little off you.
Yeah. He stole my thunder. I went to the Phillies yesterday. I haven't been to a game in person in a few years, and we went. It was a beautiful day game. Weather was perfect. They won 7-2. It was a wonderful day. So Bart, you told me the other day you have a split unit. Was there something with a filter? Because I hear that those things are very picky.
No, the wires were crossed. Installed it.
Your wires are crossed.
Literally, that's what it was. It's actually one of the things that happens when they install
literally
it.
Was shut it down and restart it.
They crossed, yeah. Yeah, that's a problem. Actually, no, filters are actually easy and easy. I actually like these. So I have 3 of them just because it's a split level.
I've been reading up on them because I got to redo my HVAC in my house somehow. I don't know how because I'm in an older house, but I keep reading that these split units are very picky.
I know, but there's also you just need to install them correctly. That's really what the problem is. But once you have them, it's actually fantastic. So I'm upstairs, and usually where my office is, where like you do, downstairs just windows open. I can just close the door and put this one on because nobody's downstairs
right
day.
Yeah, that's key.
Which is great, right? Or keep the temperatures different, right? A little colder in here, just a normal during the summer downstairs. They're great. You don't have to have them all at the same time.
Well, we're in a 3-story house, so air conditioning becomes quite pricey when we're trying to cool the upstairs, and we don't need the basement cool, so we keep those vents closed.
They're also very, all the new models are very, very efficient. Yeah. So.
Okay, and this is the air conditioning podcast. Next week, we're going to talk about condenser units and Freon and what you need to know.
And vacuums.
And I
have a whole story about that from this week.
Anyway, all right, we'll leave this in. Anyway, let's get to our first, probably our major story, recap. What you need to know. So what is WWDC? For those uninitiated, WWDC, or Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference, is the annual spectacle where Apple invites developers and the rest of the world to watch executives show off new software with the kind of fanfare usually reserved for rock concerts and new Star Wars trailers. It's part tech summit, part hype machine, and part group therapy for anyone still waiting for Siri to get smarter. So, some historical highlights. Steve Jobs' legendary Steve Notes, where he'd unveil things like the iPhone or the transition to Intel chips, making grown adults cheer for spreadsheets. The 2010 iPhone 4 reveal, complete with the infamous "you're holding it wrong" moment. Do you remember that? Antennagate? You're holding the phone wrong. And the 2020 pivot to all online events due to COVID, proving that Apple can still make you want to buy things through a live stream. I know that you and I have been watching these literally forever. I actually attended one of these up when they used to have it up in New York, which was really neat. I got to see Steve Jobs in the flesh. That was a long time ago. In short, WWDC is where Apple promises the future, sometimes delivers it, and always manages to make coming next year sound like a feature, not a bug. So what did they show off this year? Well, first, there's a new naming convention. Apple is ditching the old version numbers. Now operating systems like iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, and visionOS will be named after the year. So this year's updates are called iOS 26, iPadOS 26, and so on. This should make it easier to remember which version you're on. And the big reveal was the liquid glass design. The biggest visual overhead, liquid acid. The biggest visual overhaul since iOS 7 is here. Apple's new liquid glass look brings a sleek, translucent, glass-like feel to every device, as rumored. Expect icons, tab bars, and even text magnifiers to look and feel more dynamic and interactive. The lock screen and controls now float above your wallpaper, making for a cleaner, more immersive experience. Apple is doubling down on AI. While some anticipated features are still in development, expect smarter Siri, improved battery management, and more personalized suggestions. Developers will also gain access to Apple's AI models, opening the door for even more intelligent third-party apps. There's talk of features like notification prioritization, instant text summaries, and improved photo editing, all powered by on-device AI for privacy. A streamlined user experience. The new design isn't just pretty, it's practical. Controls are less intrusive, giving you more screen space for content. For example, Safari now lets you see more of the web page as you scroll, and the camera app is simplified for quick access to key features. And other notables, rumors suggest a new HomePod smart display and an updated Game Center app, but the primary focus this year is on software and AI. The hardware announcements usually come in September. Timeline, the developer beta is available now. Public beta, July 2025, and the official release is September 2025 with iPhone 17. You can expect the 20th anniversary iPhone Glasswing expected by September 2027.
You know what? It's a very short timeline for a new redesign.
For the iOS?
Yeah.
The OS?
Yeah.
I'd say yeah, no. I think the issue is that they're trying to unify all of the devices. And
I get that. But usually when they release beta software, it's longer than it's June. They usually take longer than that.
It was interesting that we got it right away. You and I both updated right away.
In the same day, I was like, that doesn't happen. Usually it's longer.
Yeah, we'll get into the pros and cons of that. So here's why it matters. The redesign is the most significant software update in years, signaling a new era where hardware and software are even more tightly integrated. The Liquid Glass UI not only refreshes the current user experience, but also sets the stage for Apple's next hardware revolution, particularly the all-glass edge-to-edge iPhone planned for the company's 20th anniversary. iOS 26 Liquid Glass design is both a bold aesthetic leap and a strategic move to prepare users and developers for Apple's next-generation devices, culminating, as I said, in the landmark iPhone expected in 2027. So in a nutshell, it's a bold new look with Liquid Glass, smarter AI, and unified naming system. The update is designed to make your devices feel fresher, more useful, and ready for what's next. Oh, as Steve Jobs would say, one more thing. Headlines: Apple delays Siri AI overhaul. Investors get jittery. Apple's big Siri delay. What happened? So it's been a year since Apple's execs took the stage and promised us a revolution powered by Apple Intelligence. Their bespoke, privacy-loving spin on AI that you would know better than your own mother, scouring your emails and texts to make your iPhone the ultimate personal assistant. The vision, a Siri that could actually do things for you, not just set timers and butcher your name. Fast forward to today, that revolution is still stuck in customs. After months of awkward silence and mounting questions, Apple admitted it needs more time to deliver its long-promised AI-powered upgrade to Siri. The company's leadership said the project just isn't ready for prime time and won't meet Apple's quality standards until at least next year. And actually, there was an article this morning, Craig Federici actually confirmed this. He did an interview with Wall Street Journal. And there's an article on Verge about this. I won't read that. You can look it up yourself. Apple says it's all about quality. They want to get Siri right, and I get that. The company even switched up who's leading the Siri project, hoping to get things back on track. Now, this is after they ran a big ad campaign talking about how AI is going to be great for you. But if you're waiting for Siri to finally get smart and productive, you might want to excel. Apple's high standards requiring a multi-year waiting period allows competitors to sprint ahead. Not good. Investor reaction, the market was disappointed. Apple stock dipped as investors worried the company is falling behind rivals like Google and OpenAI in the AI race. Analysts described the event as steady but slow, and some noted that Apple's cautious approach may cost it momentum in the fast-paced world of Apple Intelligence. This event was one of the most anticipated tech events of the year, but Wall Street's reaction was far from enthusiastic. The stock dropped 1.5% immediately after the keynote, falling from 204.34 to 201.42, wiping about $75 billion with a B in market in just a few hours. The dip is part of, unfortunately, a broader trend. Apple shares are down as much as 20% year to date, and the company now ranks behind Microsoft and NVIDIA in global market value. So the market was underwhelmed by this announcement, but Apple's playing it safe with Siri. They're choosing quality over speed. So you're going to have to wait a little longer for the big AI features, which me personally, I'm willing to wait because I don't use the onboard AI, and you will agree with this. We really don't use it. You use ChatGPT, I use Perplexity, and then
I use ChatGPT that's built in fully too. So on the lady in the tube, because that will all go off in a second.
Right.
We said it. I don't. I mean, it's slow.
Yeah.
It's very slow.
So let's talk. So what were your first impressions of the new update?
So speaking of like update cycles, while you were reading, I was like, well, wait a minute. In reality, there's not a lot of new features. They just do code of paint on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So that day is pretty easy. I might be probably the minority. I love it.
I love it too. Now I do have a few.
There's few things.
There's a few things. Okay. On the iPhone, I've noticed there's a bit of a lag, and I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max. So I've got the Super Max turbocharged, from the table, homegrown, best phone out there. And I'm noticing a lag when you scroll looking for an app. Now, usually I use a search, but sometimes I'll just scroll and you'll see it takes half a second to load. Not a big deal, but that is not Apple. Also, I've seen a lot of examples online where the translucent interface over other things actually makes it harder to read.
Yeah, that's the biggest complaint is the readability.
And I think they're going to make some tweaks to that. It's really, I think it's just an opacity issue. Maybe fully translucent wasn't the way to go. Because if I look at my phone, I have a picture of my dog, and I see the notifications over top of it. My dog is white. The notifications are white.
Yeah, you can't see that. The other issue is if you scroll the control center, it used to be very blurry in the background, so you can have a good contrast. Mm-hmm. It isn't right now. It's really, really weird. So you're getting that. The readability, they'll change that. The little slowness that happens almost every time they update something because they're trying to figure out what they miss.
There's some window fit issues I've noticed as well. Like
that's also other apps. Like they haven't gotten into there.
So Netflix on the iPad, because the menu bar is now gone.
Yep.
It looks weird because you've now got, you now see your desktop behind the Netflix app, which is full screen.
Yeah. I think one of the best things out of all those updates is the iPad finally gained actual window things like closer to a laptop. I think I
didn't put that in the report. Yes, that was significant.
I think that is one of the things that that's the feature that I think is thing. The other thing is just unifying everything. Like it looks all the same finally.
Yep.
I love it.
So I got my widgets. I like how they manage widgets on the desktop. I was really a little confused as to how to remove a widget, but it's a control click thing. It was like,
yeah,
and I was like,
I did that. So they used to hide, and then they stayed on my desktop. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah. So there's little idiosyncrasies happening, but the iPhone mirroring, the translation, I couldn't give a crap about the game stuff. I never played games on Mac, so I kind of zonked out when that was on. But overall, I think it's solid. And I know that you always, as soon as the developer beta came out, you
always had it.
I would wait and see what happened to Bart's phone first.
Well, so to be true, I'm so because Mac lets you, scrap it and update it from the Macs to iPads to things. Everything is online for me. I don't, it used to be you have to have stuff on the desktop and have it set up.
Well, make sure you back up. Now,
if something's going wrong, I can have everything up in 5 minutes.
Right.
You know,
I'm finally team iCloud as well because I switched between a mini and a laptop, and that was getting a little kooky nuts crazy. So I have everything in iCloud, and I just put a couple aliases on each desktop, so everything is there, and I don't lose anything anymore.
And it's literally a Mac, a redo is what? Less than an hour, you have it back to normal.
I purposely set myself up with a little desktop analog activity to do while I was updating my laptop and my mini, and it took less than 30 minutes.
It's great.
It was literally painless.
They're really good at that kind of stuff. I think people don't give them credit, but the syncing they do with iCloud and how they're managing everything. And then if you really screw up your OS, redoing your Mac from scratch literally takes nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, I'm finally team iCloud. Everything's in the iCloud, and I'm probably going to kill my Dropbox account. Dropbox is just,
They turned off so much different things. They used to have, my favorite feature got turned off completely. So they used to have this bulk kind of folder, which like your personal documents are in there and they're vaulted and encrypted, blah, blah, blah. Now you can do that with iCloud and encrypt everything, but that was a fun feature. That's gone. Like it's time to move away from it. It used to be storage. And I think iCloud fully is cheap.
yeah, I pay $9.99 a month for 2 terabytes.
Yeah, it's like and it's fast and you can literally like the sync.
I see a lot of, like, the thing I never got with Dropbox was we're keeping files here, but we're also keeping files here, and you can look here, but you also have to look here. It's like, I just want to click on a freaking drive and see stuff.
You know? It depends how much. Listen, we deal with audio and video. I've done it for a very long time. So understanding that, depends on the space you have on your hard drive. Like I have a big hard drive now, so it doesn't really matter. But it used to be like, I have to dump everything out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with your phone, like all those kind of things.
The iOS is still kind of big. I mean, I don't really have much in my drive except the operating system.
Yeah. I mean, my boy I have 36 gigs of memory and like, I was terabyte on this one.
Oh, you bought the extra super farm to table. No.
Oh yeah. This puppy is not small.
That's your laptop, right?
Yeah, it's my laptop.
Because I bought a laptop. But mine only has, let's see here, Scooby Doo. I think it only has 24 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
Which, it's enough, but it doesn't kick ass like it used to. You don't get the bang for your buck anymore. Because I remember the olden days when, we'd have 6 gigs of RAM and you were badass, Yeah. Absolutely. Overall, I think it's a lot of people are complaining because they're like, it's normal. It's funny. It's like expected every time they change something into bigger things. Like, oh, we hate this. And then they expect it to be perfect. And also the one guy that said he got fired because right after the WWDC, turned out that was a hoax. John Youngfolk. I was fired by Apple today. Me and my design team have spent 18 months tirelessly testing different levels of Gaussian blur on backgrounds when foreground elements are in focus. If you're looking for experts in the blur, glass, liquid, grass, or fur UI space, let me know.
Oh,
it was a hoax. It was a hoax.
Oh, John? You've seen, yeah, dude, that guy has been developing stuff for forever, but not for Apple. He's never worked for Apple.
Right. He's never.
I knew that. I was like, you sent me this the other day, and I was like, yeah, I know, John. I used his stuff all over.
I didn't dig deeper until this morning. I was going to make it part of the report. I'm like, wait a second, who this guy is?
You know exactly who that guy is. He used to develop some really cool tools, and
I think it caught a lot of people off guard because they kind of fell in pace with the comments after the.
Sir, you can't do sarcasm online.
No
anymore.
Sarcasm's dead.
Sarcasm online is dead.
Sarcasm is dead.
Anyway.
All right, let's do another story. We're going to talk about Amazon robots, specifically delivery robots. In a move that could take delivery workers' jobs and confuse your dogs, the information reported that Amazon is developing AI-powered humanoid robots that would spring out of its vans and deliver packages. That's frightening. Welcome to the so-called humanoid park. According to the report, which Amazon hasn't yet commented on, the tech giant is almost done building a cafe-sized indoor obstacle course at one of its San Francisco offices where it'll train delivery robots before taking them on real-world field trips. Amazon wants its electric delivery vans to shuttle the humanoids around so that one of its 20,000 Rivians is also in the humanoid park to help with testing. Body reveal is TBD. Amazon is building the software for its mechanical mail carriers itself and plans to outsource a variety of other companies' humanoids, including a popular $16,000 model from China-based Unitree for test this summer. Amazon already uses bipedal bots in its warehouses, including one from Agility Robots that was originally pitched for delivery work. Amazon has also been developing self-driving cars since acquiring Zoox in 2020. It could also be angling to ultimately automate the entire delivery process from warehouse to doorstep, potentially threatening the jobs of hundreds of thousands of Amazon workers worldwide. The AI isn't stealing your jobs; it's the robots now.
Always with the robots.
Always with the robots. I'm glad I'm going to be off this mortal coil before the robots take over. I mean, I think we're going to be cutting it close, but this is
you're not gonna see it. I love you, buddy, but that's I will not see them.
But I don't know how I feel about this. I mean,
robots.
I thought it was weird when they did remember we used to do on the other podcast, we used to do all the Amazon drone reports because it was they were filing all these crazy patents so that remember the blimp that had the drones that would fly out of the back of it like it was pooping drones, and it would fly out all these deliveries of.
They're actually using drones a lot.
Walmart's really gotten more into the drone thing. I was going to do a report on that. There's one city now where they have a warehouse where the drones, because it's more suited for a rural thing.
Yeah.
It's like guys, he's ordering, he's got to get his puppy chow and battery charger, and they don't want to send a truck out there. It's more cost efficient to send a drone to just drop it in that guy's back.
Yeah. I mean, places where, houses are far apart and those kind of places, that's great for it. I mean, not only Amazon, but look at USPS.
Yeah.
Service. Like, if you think about it, like delivery, mail delivery, like all that kind of stuff has to change a bit, right?
It's just not efficient anymore.
No, the efficiency is there. So I kind of get those. I get the drones. I get that. The robot thing is like, I mean, look what Philly did to a walking robot one time.
Bart is referring to that robot. Let's see, what was it? They called it the Philly bot. Philly bot.
No, he was walking across the country.
He was walking across the country, and he got to Philly, and
that was it.
That was it. Hitchbot. Hitchbot, the hitchhiking robot, gets beheaded in Philly. That was in 2015.
Right. So you got that, but also like the little delivery robots they all have, like the little things. So I recently moved, but in Jersey City they finally put them in, and I was like, that's fine and dandy, but I'm like, I can't. To me, in those kind of cities, is like, really, like there's literally things outside your house. I don't know. It's still weird to get deliveries from like down the street, for food deliveries. I'm still very perplexed about the food delivery things.
Yeah. Those little, I mean, they look like little coolers.
Yeah.
Wheels and an antenna or a flag on the back. It just doesn't seem practical in a lot of situations. I don't know how that would become a broad thing. I
don't know. I think they're also getting more destroyed than people think they are.
Yeah, because it's the size of a cooler, and you're like, I'm going to knock this thing over because I'm a smart ass or whatever,
Well, right. And then it's also like, like the scooters and stuff like that you can rent for everywhere. I think in Chicago, the lake has so many places.
They threw all the lime. They look through all the lime scooters in the lake or whatever.
And it's like, people just can't have nice things.
Yeah. It's America, and Americans are Americans, and they like to, destroy things. I guess, I don't know.
Hey, it's not, I don't know. The more prevalent it is, the more it's going to be out there. I mean, you look at Waymo, it's out there and doing its thing. Tesla is finally releasing their taxis, which is interesting in itself.
They're in Austin. They're doing a Tesla.
They're doing it in Austin. Waymo is just way ahead on that. For the moment, I think what saves Tesla, and I know we're talking about robots, but what saves Tesla, I think, is that they've been collecting the amount of data they have on roads is so much bigger because they collect it all. So from that perspective,
Waymo did have very much of a head start on the self-driving. The funny thing was when the protests started out in Los Angeles, a couple of them were set on fire, and then somebody had a picture on Twitter of all the other Waymos self-driving themselves out of it.
Yeah, very much. Well, I mean, you think about it, right? They can control.
Well, they're $200,000 a piece. I would.
Well, they can also control them, right? It's listen, they're getting better and better. There's a lot more technology on top of these cars, but Tesla's ahead of when it comes to how much data they have on the roads. So self-driving for them is a little easier, I think.
Yeah, my concern is still just using cameras and not LiDAR. So that's
always been my. That's always
sketchy for me.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The other problem is not really the robotaxis or robots, is the other people.
It's people that are the problem.
Right. So I compare it to, I was listening to, I don't know if it was Earhart Jr. or somebody was talking about one of the NASCAR drivers, right? And he was like, do you ever like just like in traffic or in like regular roads pull up to people, or people pull up to you, just race them? He's like, no, it's not me that I have a problem with. It's all other drivers. He's like, when I'm on a racetrack, those drivers drive exactly like me. We all know what we're doing, right? You can kind of anticipate. We know how to, when we hit stuff like that. Regular people have no idea. So there's no way I'm doing that. I'm more cautious driving on regular roads than I'm ever driving on a big,
Listen, I'm a fan of the 3 a.m. doom scroll on Reddit looking for bad driver videos, and also see Interstate 95 on any clear day. I mean, the guys just zoom in and out of lanes. And
dude, Northeast is terrible for this right now. Everywhere, dude. Turnpike everywhere. They're flying like crazy. And I'm like, what are you doing?
The Turnpike's good because the speed limit is 60 or 65. People are routinely at 90 or 100 because cars.
And they're flying between cars. I'm like, you do not know how to handle that car.
Yeah. It's like, you know how to go fast. You just don't know how to stop.
Right. It will stop for you.
It was like, I watched the movie. Did you ever see the movie The Accountant?
Yes. The second one just came out, by the way.
Well, I watched the first one again. I don't remember anything about it, but the first one was great. Second one is okay. Ben Affleck has his one line, and it says, "The guy fell out of the window. Do you think, is he still alive? What killed him?" And he goes, "Well, it wasn't the fall. It was stop."
Yeah, like that dry autistic way of dude, where he always says it. He's so good in this.
And he looks over and he goes, "That was a joke."
It's great. Yeah, I mean, the robot thing, it's going to come at some point. There's innovation all the time that people want to do that. Like, I think, I was talking to somebody. The idea of the science fiction movies is that eventually they become something, right? Arts and stuff like that get people to develop new technology and do that, right?
And creativity.
Yeah. Is it going to be robots taking over? No. Like, it's AI going to take over its thing? Not yet. It doesn't really think for itself, right? The more it's all still people.
Well, now we get more concerns that the creators of AI don't know what's in the black box.
So they don't. Why would they?
And now they're afraid of the sentence.
Since we had an Apple story, I mean, we did.
Yeah,
we had the Apple story. I mean, they had, Apple released a whole thing around AI, and I think part of why they delayed a lot of stuff is because of that report.
Yeah, I was going to get into that, but I thought it was a little too dense.
I haven't read the report, but it's more of like, it's not really doing what AI is doing. There's no really agent thing going on, and it's just whatever you put in. If you put crap in, it's crap.
Crap in, crap out. That's what we said.
AI is still a great tool. It's just a tool.
Just keeping on the robot tip, Meta is developing robots. So is Tesla, although I heard the Tesla demonstration was actually BS.
Yes,
it wasn't controlling them. It wasn't people in suits, but it was pretty close.
Oh, they were controlling them. But I got to say, from all the stuff we've seen, right? Them walking that upright and actually walking and doing that and moving around, even if it was controlled.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
I look at a lot of the General Dynamics. Is it General Dynamics?
Yeah.
And the stuff that comes out of China, like Honda does a lot of robots. Like they had robots playing basketball the other day and blocking each other. That was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, the fact that they can stand up and jump over things now. Once they mount them with machine guns, we're done.
But you think about it, like, a person is very like complex to make it walk upright, right? Like, so figuring that out, from trying to mimic that is really hard. They
mimic that and also have the decision-making capability to say, oh, I'm going to walk into something, I need to shift, but how does the body have to, it's really, as you said, very complex. All right, well, we're going to cut our robot talk because we're running out of time, but that's it for this week. We hope you learned something, but if not, at least you wasted some time. We'll be back next week with more questionable advice and unsolicited opinions. If you enjoyed the episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. If you prefer the video experience, please check out our YouTube channel. And lastly, check us out on the socials. We are on Bluesky, Twitter, and Facebook. Sign up for our newsletter where you'll get extended show recaps and behind the scenes info on the show. Links are in the show notes. Bart, closing thought.
Stay safe, my friends.
Stay safe, everyone. It's going to rain this weekend, so I'm just going to lock in.
Actually, no. Wait, I have a better one. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all you fathers and all you. I was going to
Fathers.
all you fathers. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Until next
grandfathers.
time, grandfathers. Until next time, may your internet be fast, your video calls be clear, and your mute button always work where you need it most. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.
What do you do now?